Hello, students. This is Sir Thomas back again with a class on the factors of production. In the last class, we did land as a factor of production. Today, we'll be doing labor as a factor of production. Imagine, my dear students, your school is now going to organize the annual day celebration. Can anyone organize this entire celebration alone? Can one teacher arrange for the stage setup, the sound setup, writing of the certificates, sending out invitations, taking care of chief guests? Of course not. Everyone gets a task to perform. Different people do different tasks. For instance, there will be a teacher who will take care of the stage setup. There will be a teacher in charge of the items. There will be a teacher who will look after the certificates. There will be a teacher who will take care of the invitees, and so on. Each one performing his or her own task. This simple example will help us understand this important factor of production called labor. Students, when you hear this word labor, what comes to your mind? To most of you, labor would mean factory workers carrying bricks on their shoulder, or people employed doing menial jobs in factories. Maybe you're partially right. But in economics, labor has a wider explanation to it. Let us see what the text has to tell us. Labor consists of all human efforts, body or mind, which is undertaken in the expectation of a reward. What is the reward out here? Your reward out here is your salary, your wage, or your profit. Let me give you an example of physical labor and mental labor. Now, in physical labor, you've got construction workers building a house, farmers working in the fields, gardeners maintaining parks, and so on. The list is innumerable. Let us look at mental labor. Now, when we talk of mental labor, it refers to a teacher teaching in a classroom, a doctor treating patients, a software engineer writing computer programs. Now, while you've seen these examples on physical and mental labor, it is very important to note out here, what if you love to sing and you keep singing to yourself in your room or in your bathroom? Do you call this labor? Absolutely not. This is not labor. But on the other hand, if you enjoy singing and you are singing on a stage where you will draw an income out of it, that is labor. So if you look at your text, human work will be treated as labor only if it is undertaken to earn an income as a reward. So human work will be treated as labor. So whatever you work, whether you sing, whether you act, whether you dance, if it is going to fetch you an income, then it is to be considered as labor. Now, for any work to be called labor, there are three conditions which must be satisfied. The very first one, only human effort is labor. I repeat, only human effort is labor. Machines cannot be labor. Labor must be both physical or mental. Both a mason as well as a teacher. Both are considered as labor in economics. Labor is undertaken in expectation of a reward. Yes, you consider your work as labor only when you are rewarded. And what is your reward? Your reward is your income. It could either be a salary, a wage, or a profit. Moving on with our topic on labor. Students, can all workers be the same? Can all be equally efficient? To some extent, no. All labor is not the same. And why? Because it takes years of training to get skilled, to get equipped in a particular form of work you will be venturing into. Also, you add a number of years of experience to your labor, and that makes a difference when you talk about efficiency in your labor. And hence, labor can be classified under skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled labor. Now, what is skilled labor, my dear students? Skilled labor or skilled laborers are those who have specialized training for a particular profession. For example, you can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, you can be a lawyer, you can be a child accountant, and so on. So basically, skilled labor are those who acquire a specialized training in a particular profession. So obviously, these workers are highly paid. Next, semi-skilled laborers. Now, semi-skilled workers are those who have only a part of a professional training of their trade but have sufficient experience in that line. I repeat, semi-skilled workers are people who are not very well skilled, but they have ample enough of experience to their credit. For example, you can have a carpenter, you can have a weaver, you can have a goldsmith. These people do not have a university degree, but yet they have that experience which you and I are looking out for. But remember, these people are paid comparatively less than the skilled labor or skilled workers. A third category of labor is the unskilled labor. Now, unskilled labor do not require any specialized professional skill. I repeat, unskilled labor or an unskilled worker does not require any specialized skill. For example, a construction worker, a coolie, a domestic help. These people do not need any specialized training, and therefore they are very poorly paid when compared to skilled and unskilled labor. Before we move on to the next part of this lesson, you have it on screen the examples in a nutshell: the skilled labor, the semi-skilled labor, and the unskilled labor. So under skilled labor, you've got child accountants, technical experts, company secretaries. Semi-skilled labor, you've got carpenters, weavers, goldsmith. And in unskilled labor, you've got railway coolies, domestic help, and sweepers. Sufficient enough in a nutshell to tell you the different types and categories of labor. Let us understand now, my dear students, some special features of labor, or in other words, the characteristics of labor. The very first one, labor is perishable. What is labor? Work done by a worker is called labor. Now, this work cannot be done by you staying at home. You have to be physically present there. Then that work becomes labor. And that's why if a worker does not work on a particular day, his labor for that day is wasted. If you do not go to work, you have not worked for that day. Labor cannot be stored, right? And that's why labor, number one, is perishable. Two, labor is an active factor of production. Land and capital are both passive. Land and capital are both passive factors, but labor is an active factor of production. A machine cannot start by itself. A field cannot cultivate itself. You need labor to activate the other factors of production. And therefore, labor is considered to be a living organism. Labor cannot be separated from a laborer. A factory owner can rent his machine, right? It's possible. But can I, as a laborer, stay at home and say that I'm working elsewhere? No. That's not possible. So labor cannot be separated from a laborer, and that's why they are inseparable. The laborer must be present himself at the place where the work is going on. Laborer sells his labor, not himself. I repeat, the laborer does not sell himself, my dear students. He sells his work, he sells his service. And that's why he has a freedom, he has a choice, he maintains his dignity, whereby he may not or he may agree to work for you. Labor is mobile. Labor alone is a factor which is mobile. Land and capital is not possible. But labor can move from one place to another, from one occupation to another. So you can have both geographical mobility as well as occupational mobility. Labor differs in efficiency. My dear students, we all know all laborers are not equally efficient. Some laborers are more efficient due to their ability, due to their training, due to all what they have received during their studying period. Whereas others are less efficient on account of illiteracy, ignorance, and maybe they have never got the opportunity to do what they could do in life. And that's why labor differs from person to person. Efficiency will differ from people to people. Labor can improve its efficiency by investing capital in workers' education, by having in service training. Definitely, the productivity of labor can be improved. Inelastic supply of labor. My dear students, you cannot create thousands of doctors overnight. Is it possible? No, it's not possible. This will take some time, some years for it to happen. And therefore, supply of labor is inelastic in a country at a time. What does that mean? It means supply can neither be increased nor decreased at once at a given time. Labor is both the means and end. Workers produce goods, workers also consume goods, right? So a laborer is both the means of production as well as the end of it. So he produces the goods and services and also consumes them. Now, the demand for good largely depends upon the level of wages in the country or the level of wages he or she will get. Demand for labor is derived. Yes, my dear students, demand for labor is derived. It is not directly demanded like the goods and services for consumption. Laborers are demanded by owners only when there is a demand for goods and services. Till then, the demand for labor is not there. And that's why demand for labor is derived. Labor has a less bargaining power. The bargaining power of the worker is low compared to that of the employer. Yes, my dear students, only because labor is perishable, laborers are generally poor and laborers are usually illiterate. So, with these above reasons, how can that poor laborer have the bargaining power with his boss, with his employer? Moving on to difference between land and labor. Please note, my dear students, this is an important distinguish. It can come in the boards. Now, while land is immobile, labor is mobile. While land is a passive factor, labor is an active factor. While supply of land is fixed, supply of labor is variable. Rent is a reward for land, wages is a reward for labor. Before moving on to the next part of this topic on efficiency of labor, let me ask you one question. In our class, there are so many of you, my dear students. And yet, if I give you a project to do, some of you will take 1 day, some of you will do it to the T. Perfect. Submission on time, even before the due date. Whereas some will do in a slipshod manner. Some will have that salta attitude. Okay, I'll do that. I will do it little later. Maybe some will say, okay, there's still some time. Why? Why is this happening? Simply because each one is different. And this difference, we term it as efficiency. So, by efficiency of labor, we mean the productive capacity of the worker. Of course, he has the capacity to do more work, to better himself, or do both during the given period of time. Now, when is the worker said to be more efficient? When he produces more output. When he produces a better quality output. And when he produces it in less time. Thus, efficiency of labor is a relative concept. The efficiency of labor is determined by several factors. Now we now want to see the factors that affect the efficiency of labor. The very first one is racial and hereditary factors. Now this efficiency of the worker depends upon the racial and hereditary qualities. Now if your parents are intelligent and hardworking, the children too will normally inherit these qualities, right? First one. Second one, the climate. The climate conditions also affect the efficiency of labor. Obviously, a hot climate will make the laborer less efficient. He will produce less. Whereas a place which is conducive to work with colder climate, you will see he'll work for more labor hours. He'll be more efficient. Okay? And thereby increasing his efficiency. The third factor, standard of living. Better standard of living makes the labor mentally and physically sound, and therefore he can have a definite increase in his efficiency of work. Education and training. Obviously, a person who has that technical knowledge when it comes to the field of work, then a general knowledge will be more efficient than the other, right? So there are two types of education, general as well as technical. Now what does general do? It broadens your knowledge, yes, or gives you an outlook of labor and probably make labor more responsible. But technical education trains the laborer to do specialized jobs. Experience. Besides education, the experience of a worker will also make him efficient. His efficiency will go on increasing as he does that same work over and over again. So, definitely, one is your knowledge which you have, and two is the work you're working into, the field of work. And if you keep doing that work day in and day out, definitely you'll have better experience and your efficiency will increase. So, an experienced worker is generally more efficient than an inexperienced worker. Working condition. Better working conditions improve the efficiency of labor. Now, if the laborer works at a place where he can have fresh air, safe drinking water, adequate light, his efficiency will 100% be more. But on the other hand, if he is working in unhealthy conditions, improper conditions, it will reduce his efficiency of labor. Next is the level of wages. My dear students, wages play an important role in making sure that the laborer is working. So, higher the wage, definitely he will work for you more than ever. Duration of work. Long duration of work reduces the worker's efficiency. So, the workers get tired if they work for long hours. And therefore, your working hours should be between 6 to 8 hours a day. Machinery and equipment. The type of machinery and tools used in the factory will definitely influence the efficiency of a worker. And to a great extent, it will also increase the productive capacity of that firm. Moral qualities. A worker's efficiency also depends on his moral values. Can the boss depend on you? Can the boss know that you are a responsible worker, you are an honest worker, a dutiful worker. All this will enhance the worker's efficiency. Organizing as a factor affecting efficiency of labor. Now, remember, my dear students, efficiency of workers and organization is interrelated. If the company or if the organization provides timely raw materials, proper machines, proper equipment, proper tools, the laborer, the worker is bound to give you a better output. Okay? And so the efficiency of workers will definitely improve. The employer-employee relationship. Efficiency of labor by the students depends purely on the employer-employee relationship. Now, if the relationship between the two are friendly, sympathetic, understanding, giving him a leeway sometimes, allowing him to do the way he wants to do, definitely he will produce much more than you expect. His efficiency will be much more than you expect. Otherwise, it's vice versa. Now, those are the factors affecting efficiency of labor in general. Let's see how India is concerned with factors affecting the efficiency of labor. Now, the main causes behind the low efficiency of Indian labor are as follows. The first one, hot climate. India is a subtropical climate, and so it's very hot. No? And it's a natural cause. It's not that we are forcing ourselves to be working into hot condition, but it is hot, and so you are bound to have a low efficiency of Indian labor. The first cause. Your second cause is low wages. The wages of labor in India are generally low, and so that brings down the standard of living. When that falls, the Indian worker is poorly fed, ill clothed, and this will show in his or her efficiency. The third point is incongenial environment. Indian workers have to work under very unhygienic conditions. Just imagine a worker working in inhuman condition. What happens to him? He's got no canteen, no recreation time, no proper restroom. Do you think he will be able to deliver more? No. This will adversely affect the efficiency of Indian workers. Poor technology. In India, very often we are using obsolete technology, outdated machines, machines known for frequent breakdown. How do you expect that worker to be efficient? How do you expect that worker to give you the production that you are looking out for? And this gives a downfall in the efficiency of the Indian workers. Migratory character. Indian workers are migratory in character. They move from village to city, from rural to urban, and back when it's harvest time, sowing time, they go back to the villages. And that's what affects labor in cities, in our working condition. So when the agricultural activities start, these workers take leave or remain absent from work. Now, this migratory character lowers the efficiency of workers to a large extent all across the working situation. Education and training. It is found that Indian workers do not have proper education and training, and so this obviously is going to lower his or her efficiency in working. Now, how do you improve an Indian worker's efficiency? First, payment of wages should be prompt. Give him a bonus, give him that fringe benefit, give him something that he will enjoy working for you more. And when that is given as an incentive to work hard, he will definitely be a better worker. Working conditions in factories or workplaces should be improved. Improve that workplace of his, and you see how he will perform. The third, give that worker some social security measures. What is social security? his pension, his provident fund, his insurance benefits. And you see, he will automatically start working towards you because he knows that his boss is giving him some social security. And this is a must, and this should be introduced if you want to enhance any Indian workers' efficiency. Hours of work should not be more than 8 hours. Besides number of hours, give him those holidays, give him those leaves, allow him to go with his family on a holiday, and you see, he will turn back and give you a better performance. So all this should be provided to the worker without further delay. So we are seeing how at the moment we can improve the efficiency of an Indian worker. Technical education facilities should be expanded to all categories of workers. So let every worker, if he's unskilled or if he's semi-skilled, give him an in-house training. Let him be doing some learning while he is on the campus, also called as in-service training. Now, my dear students, imagine you and your friends are preparing for a school exhibition. One of you will make a chart, the other will draw something on the chart, the third will collect the content for the chart, the fourth will prepare the project, the fifth will present the project. So, what do you see in this flow of activities or the flow of tasks? Each one is assigned a task. Each one is doing something for the exhibition. And this is what we call division of a task, division of work. And in economics, we call it division of labor. So let's look at the text. What is the text saying? By division of labor, we mean specialization in work. Now, this work which you specialize can be either for a single commodity or a single sub process. Now, what is Adam Smith telling us? To him, production becomes more efficient when work is divided among workers. I repeat, what does Adam Smith tell us? He is apparently also the father of economics. He tells us that production becomes more efficient when work is distributed among workers. Now, division of labor may take different forms. The very first type is the product based division of labor. Now, when a person or a worker specializes in the production of a particular commodity or service, it is called a product based division of labor. This is also known as this is also supposed to be a simple or an occupational division of labor. Your examples are on the screen. You have a farmer, for instance, a doctor, a carpenter, a teacher, each one specializing in his or her own occupation, on only one occupation. And that's why it is called product based division of labor. The second type of the division of labor is your process based division of labor. Work is divided into different stages. Now, in a modern economy, production of goods or service involves several processes. The total work is divided into many small steps or processes. Each specialized function is undertaken by an individual or a group of individuals, leading to the final product. So, what is there that we would understand in this point? In a process based division of labor, work is broken up into different tasks, each one performing his own task, his own process. And this entire work is broken up into different small steps. And as you keep doing it over and over again, you tend to get specialized. It increases your dexterity. And so what happens is your final product tends to become a specialized product. And this is what your bosses want from you. So a process-based division of labor. Let me give you an example. How in process-based work is broken up into different stages. We have an example of the garment factory. So one worker gets the cloth organized, takes measurements. Okay, the first worker takes the measurement. The second worker will cut the cloth. The third will stitch the garment. The fourth will add buttons to the garment. The fifth will iron the garment. And finally, all of them, what have they done? They have produced a shirt. No? So you see how to make that one shirt, each one doing his or her job, and each one doing it faithfully. And that's how your final product, your shirt, is ready by the process form of working. The third type of division of labor is the horizontal and vertical division of labor. Now, when I am talking of the horizontal division of labor, in this process of production, your production is divided into different parts in such a way that different parts of the process work simultaneously. Okay, so all are doing work simultaneously. It's not that I will do, you will do it first, I will do it later. No, all are working simultaneously. Let's take an example of an automobile industry, or I'm making a car, for instance. The first person will design the car. The second person will get the sheet, the metal sheet, cut the sheet. The third will press the sheet. The fourth will assemble the car, will make the body of the car. The fifth will paint the car. And the final person, the sixth person, will assemble the car in such a way that the car is ready for sale. So you see, this is the horizontal division of labor, each one working simultaneously at one given time. Now then, what is vertical division of labor? Now, in vertical division of labor, production occurs in various stages. One stage at a time, and not all at one time. So first, I'm giving an example again of the garment, of the cloth industry. First, we get the raw material. Once that is got, then we send the cotton or the wool into spinning a yarn. So the spinning and weaving takes place. Next, the fabric is produced. After that, the sewing takes place. The stitching part takes place. Finally, only when that is done, then you start your packaging and transporting. So what do you notice over here? It is one stage follows another, and one stage at a time, and not all at one time. The fourth type of division of labor is the international division of labor and the division of labor within the country. Let us see what is this international division of labor. No country will produce everything in the world. Every country will produce only those goods in which they have a comparative cost advantage. They will produce only those goods which they will benefit from at the point of its balance of payments. So, it will produce only those goods and services which it finds advantages to produce. The rest, what will they do? They will import from other countries and services. Therefore, different countries concentrate on the production of different goods and services. This is called international division of labor. Then what is division of labor within the country? Again, due to some reasons, all states of India cannot produce everything. No? There is some specialization taking place in every state. Now, the production of certain goods takes place in a particular place or a state. Now, this particular type of division of labor is called the geographical division of labor. For example, you'll see textiles in Mumbai, earlier called Bombay, jute industry in Bengal, sugar industry in UP. Now, these are very clear, good examples when we talk of territorial division of labor. Moving on to see how this entire concept of division of labor is helpful to every economy. The advantages of division of labor. Now, the first one, right man at the right job. Since work is divided into number of parts and subparts, each worker can be given his taste or preference. So here, when you are talking of the division of labor, we have the right man in the right place. So definitely when he is meant for that job, he will perform better. Division of labor increases the efficiency of the worker. When the worker does the same work over and over again, what is happening? It is bettering himself. It is increasing his dexterity. He is in some way or the other getting specialized in making that product. No? And so that is going to increase his efficiency and adding an increase to the production process. The third advantage, saving of time and tools. Division of labor saves both time and tools. It reduces the time period required for completing the work. Just imagine one man doing the entire process of the garment example which I gave you. Okay, how much of time he would take to do one shirt or one whatever is the output? That takes a lot of time. So, and therefore, division of labor helps you in getting a better output and saves a lot of your time. Production of superior goods. Obviously, the worker, the laborer, doing the same thing over and over again, he is bound to give you a superior good, a good which can be compared to other goods. Okay, and so when a worker is given a piece of work in which he is best suited, naturally he will produce superior quality goods. Definitely doing that work over and over again, there is a possibility of inventions under division of labor. So when the worker does the same work daily, he tries to simplify his process, how we can find shortcuts, how we can make the product better. I'm talking of only what he is doing, not the entire commodity, only what he is assigned. So, or only his process. So what does he do? He tries to simplify his process and thereby makes inventions if possible. Less cost of production. Now, how is division of labor going to make your cost of production less? Simple. It encourages production on a large scale. A single producer, a sole entrepreneur, will not venture into division of labor because he will not be able to afford it. But yet, once you venture into this concept of division of labor, you're bound to expand your business. Your production will go on a large scale, and thereby, as your business expands, you will have a drop in your cost of production. So consequently, many economies benefit from large scale production, or they begin to emerge whereby reduce the cost of production. So you see, my dear students, how division of labor helps in reducing the cost of production in the long run. Increase in the mobility of labor. Definitely, my dear students, if you've been doing the same thing over and over again, you have mastered your work. Now, to some form or to some difficulty, you are unhappy with your present boss, or you're unhappy at your place of work. Would you continue staying there? No. You will want to move on to a better place for better prospects. And so, division of labor helps you in mobility of labor. Either you go out of the country or from a village to a city, or you change your occupation. Okay, so division of labor facilitates greater mobility of labor. I repeat, division of labor facilitates greater mobility of labor. Worker becomes trained in that specific task which he performs again and again, and that's why he becomes a professional, which leads to occupational mobility. Cooperation among workers. What do you understand by this, my dear students? Remember, in this entire concept of division of labor, every worker is dependent on the other worker. So, if you do not give me your part in time, my work gets delayed. If I do not give my task to the next person, that person will delay the production process. And so, all of us in that line have to be giving in our best. Okay, so have to cooperate. So the worker cannot be completed unless workers cooperate with each other. Division of labor thus develops a sense of cooperation among workers. It teaches us how to work with fellow workers. Now you may ask me, sir, in what way is division of labor advantageous to society? Yes, you as a consumer will get what? A better product. You as a consumer will get more variety. You've heard in English, many hands make light work. Keep on doing the work and you get better products. And so, when you have better products, when you have variety in your products, obviously the prices of the products will also drop, lower prices. Thus, in the long run, what is happening? You are improving your standard of living. Division of labor is helping the economy generate more and more employment opportunities. And moreover, with all this in line, you are bound to get large scale production. Let's do a quick recap because it is very, very essential from the point of your exams. Now, it's given to you because there is a possibility that it may come in your boards. The difference between the product based and the process based division of labor. The first thing, meaning you should be knowing what the laborer does the entire process himself. Okay? In process based, you've got what? He splits up into different operations. Then specialization. Here in product based, the worker specializes. In process based, he is specializing in a particular process only. Nature. The product based division is very simple, process based is very complex. Basis. Now, in product based, it is labor intensive. My dear students, you ought to know this. In a product based division of labor, it is labor intensive, whereas in process based, it is capital intensive. Use. Now, product based is basically used in small scale enterprises, whereas process based division of labor is used in large scale or quasi corporate enterprises. Now, for an example which is there on the screen, in product based, you've got Indian farmer doing all the farming activities with the help of the family members collectively. So he on his own has chosen to be a farmer and is doing it himself. Whereas in the process based, the entire process is broken up into different processes. One is doing the measurement, the other is doing the cutting, the third is doing the sewing, the fourth is putting the button, the fifth is ironing, and so on. It was seen clearly in the example. I've also arranged a slide on the advantages of the division of labor, a gist of it, a summary of it. How is it beneficial to producers, to workers, to consumers, and to society? To producers, it increases the size of production. To workers, you can work out your choice. To consumers, you get a variety of goods at cheaper rates. And to society, more employment opportunities. Then, to producers, it increases the quality of production. To workers, it increases the efficiency of workers. To consumers, it improves the standard of living. And to society, it gives everyone who are jobless to find a job. Even a less skilled worker will find a job in this division of labor concept. Then to producers again, it reduces the cost of production. To workers, it increases employment opportunities. To society, it's increasing the number of entrepreneurs. Just imagine how many people are coming into the business field. To producers, it gives you more possibilities of inventions. To workers, is helping you be mobile now, increases in mobility of labor. And to society, it's improving your living standard. Again, to producers, you're saving on time and tools. To workers, you can possibly form a workers' union. And to society, you're having a rapid economic development. So, as we conclude this chapter, as we conclude this topic on labor as a factor of production, let me just tell you one thing. Always remember, when people specialize in what they do best and work together, productivity increases, costs fall, and society benefits at large. That's all we have in today's class. I'm sure you were attentive, you have understood this class. Now, there are certain things which you ought to know from the point of exams. First one was the difference between land and labor. Define labor and the factors that affect the efficiency of labor. Then you got division of labor. These three topics are very, very important from the point of your boards. I've given you a list of questions and answers in the link. You still find something difficult, something you want me to explain or redo the topic again with you, please be free to drop in a comment. My dear students, do not forget to give a like, share and subscribe this channel. I will see you soon for my next class, and that will be on capital as the factor of production.